November Brew Robotics Club meeting. This is the last regular meeting of the 2010 robotics season. My name is Wayne Bramlett, and I am the president of the club. So what we do is we do club-related stuff first, followed by show and tell, and then we break until about 8, and then we do our main talk. And our main talk will be about the Lunar Excavator Challenge, which Sam will talk about. Okay, Dr. Katz here would like to make an announcement for IEEE. Oh.
I'm very pleased to announce that we will have an IEEE Robotics and Automation Society meeting probably on December 9th. If not, it'll be a week later on the 16th. And we have a special guest speaker, our own Nathan Munson. And he's not here. Okay, so, he promised that he gave us a talk on the NITO. Okay, he's promised even a more in-depth under the hood. He didn't say, you keep your mouth shut. Okay, but he said it will be more technical and more
there's money now for backwards engineering.
Yeah, okay. Anyway,
Are you putting it up?
I'm not. I'm just the.
This will be at CMU, and it'll be in the seminar room on the west end of the building. And start time will probably be 7 p.m. So Bill, I'll put an announcement on the mailing list.
Sounds good. Okay. Yes. Let's do some more IEEE, sure.
Okay. One more IEEE announcement. Control System Society and the Robotics and Automation Society here co-sponsors. The event is tomorrow night at Cogswell College in Sunnyvale. It's about medical robots and especially for hair transplants. We have a startup company here in Mountain View called Restoration Robotics. And
They give free samples?
You look like an owner, right? You can get in line. Yeah, Dr. Kenny, one of the software engineers, will talk about the challenges and solutions involved. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Cogswell College.
Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy. I'm on so many feeds. Did you send that to the HBRC list?
I did.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Because I'm on lots of feeds, and so I see it multiple times. Okay, tonight the top issue on my agenda is, as I discussed last time, we are getting ready to become a California unincorporated association. It's a little bit of a legal framework. It allows us to get a checking account. It allows us to sign contracts. It allows us to, do things that we couldn't otherwise do. We sent out a message to the list, got very little feedback, which doesn't really surprise me given the way that this club is. Here is a copy of the thing. The goal here is to vote these bylaws into place at this meeting. And then pending that, we'll also vote in some officers so that starting on January 1st of 2011, this thing goes into effect and away we go. So does anybody have any questions? Alan?
I should make a motion to
defer
the questions.
So when are the dues due?
Dues haven't been decided yet. I am expecting us to start collecting some sort of nominal amount of dues. The more important thing for us is we have to build a membership roster. That's the absolute requirement of this thing. We have to know who's in the club for legal reasons. Okay, so the badge stuff I started before all this stuff, that will sort of dovetail in, and we'll probably have official badges. So if you have an HBRC badge, that means you're a dues paid. We still let anybody show up even if you don't pay dues. That's kind of the way we operate. To give you an idea, dues, I can't imagine it being any more than about $5 a year. Okay, so does that break anybody's bank? I didn't think so. Okay.
Started too low, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Greedy Bags, our treasurer over there. Okay, so I'll let you go now.
I move that the articles of incorporation be accepted as presented.
I second that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, great. So, all in favor? Raise your hand. Aye. All against? Oops. Okay, we now have bylaws.
Motion goes.
Now, the right way to do the officers thing is to do a nominating committee, making sure we have a nice group of people that want to be officers. That didn't happen. Okay, so we're going to do it. We're basically going to take the people that are doing the current jobs now and let them do it for another year. And then next November, we'll actually have a full-up election and elect officers and stuff like that. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Is that consistent with the bylaws?
actually, not really.
Bylaws aren't effective until January 1st.
The bylaws aren't effective until January 1st. So we could have another election in January. Okay, so there are 5 officers according to the bylaws. There's president. So I'm willing to continue for another year unless somebody really wants the job.
You're doing such a good job, Bill. Yeah, all right.
Bill Benson, who's the person who did all the work to make this happen.
Good job, Bill.
Is our secretary. He's been doing secretary treasurer for 15 years. Yeah, right. Okay. Rose Cipriano, who could not come tonight because her husband, Michael Cipriano, was sick. They're both willing to do program chair and webmaster, respectively. Okay. And then our own Dr. Ed Katz, it will be facilities coordinator. Okay. So, I'd like to see a raise of hands of people who want to vote these officers in. Okay. Anybody against? You don't get to vote. Okay.
This is like Burma.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry we have to go through the legalese stuff, but we really do need to start getting a little bit more structured about this club. Hopefully, other than the dues part, none of you will even notice what's going on. Okay. Is there any other club-related news? That was all I wanted to do. I will, yes?
Has CMU said that this will be sufficient for their purposes?
Well, I haven't talked to CMU. They're still busy. If we were to go back to CMU, I think we would need to get some liability insurance. Okay, and this is a prerequisite for us getting liability insurance. Liability insurance isn't that expensive for a club like this. It's measured in hundreds of dollars, not thousands. Okay, so we could do that. I'm not sure CMU has room for us yet. No, Ed's giving us a head shake back. I would really, I like this facility, so we're gonna beg Ryan to let us keep coming back here. But if not, we'll have to find another place. What?
That would work too.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's see. Any other club-related news? Yes.
Yes. Well, we've been talking about the club bot, and we've agreed on a few things, one of which might be continuous rotation servos. And
Is that the
what's the other
basic?
thing we agreed on? Oh, that we want to do as a goal, kind of a 2-track, beginners and intermediate. And the beginners will be a table bot, and the intermediate will be a micromouse.
Cool.
And so we're going to set it up so that you start off doing table bot, and then if you finish that, then we can move it into micromouse. And we want to we want to show up with Micro Mouse, obviously at the meetings. But we're still working out some details. We do have we want a base of some kind. I asked you if you could make a couple dozen of these, and you started backing off. But anyways, we got a nice metal base here made by Alan.
Hey, Camp,
Yes.
move one way or the other,
Okay.
hold it up.
Oh, the robot's in the way. Isn't that a wonderful problem?
Made by Alan Martinet, the base unit there. Yeah. We're still talking about processors and sensors and so forth.
Okay. So one other thing, we have the special interest group, which is sort of a non-structured meeting. Do we want to have one? First off, who here goes to the SIG? Okay. How many of you would like to have a December SIG?
Yes.
I don't want to
Not
twist your arm.
Christmas Eve. but-
What?
Not on Christmas Eve. I
No,
don't
no,
know
I
what
would
day
do-
it falls.
So if we were to schedule it for like the second Wednesday of December, how many would you be able to go for that? I just want to give you the opportunity to do that.
You need to sign up.
We show it.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, it looks like we'll have a SIG going on for December, just for people who want to do robotics.
Just let me know what it is, because the room that we meet in at the tech shop is reserved in my name, and it's allocated on the algorithmic Wednesday. So whatever Wednesday, if you move it, just let me know.
Yeah, it will be moved, and yeah, and if you can't get the date, obviously it doesn't happen that day.
Oh, we could go to another room.
Another thing.
Or a different room. There's a room next door.
Okay, by the way, for those, how many people here are new? This is your first meeting. Excellent. I usually have a spiel where I sit there and say, welcome to the meeting, we don't have a roster, but that's not going to be true anymore, so I have to come up with a new spiel. But anyhow, basically, welcome, and we hope you enjoy it. Okay. So now, let's do the robotics show and tell part of the meeting. So who has some robots to show? So Shiloh, I can't remember your name, but Ryan.
Want to do the line
And-
first?
Yeah.
He's back here.
Okay, so we're going to start on that side of the room. So you start first? Okay.
This is a parallel project to Shellboats. I will grab it in a second. It's small because I had to fit in my carry-on luggage. I got here from Italy 5 weeks ago. This is a completely open source and open schematic. It contains Android phone 1.5 and beyond. You simply operate it as a teleoperation, or you can move semi-autonomously GPS coordinates or heading. The nice thing is that since you use a cell phone, range is anywhere you get cell phone control. We operate this one from Italy to here. Well, no, I did not do the trip. I had my mother control it from there. And schematic is open. You just download it from my site. Software is open. You just download it from my site. Same thing as Cellbot, except Cellbot does not do video. This does video and audio. Audio you have to make a voice call. Video you just get. If anybody wants to play with it,
Show them the mirror how you do the video.
this is simply the cell phone. The cell phone you just put it in. You just put it in here. It had to fit in. Normally there is a tilt mount for it, but it had to fit in my luggage. So TSA people looked at me very funny when I did it. In fact, the customs wanted me to demonstrate. And the original purpose for this was for Italian police to look at their cars. So the mirror. That's why the mirror is taken away. And
What is it for?
to look at their cars for security inspection, or you can just play with it. This is just something. This again, you just use your Android phone, you put it in. All this stuff again. Schematic is online. You build it. I give you Gerber files and I give you Eagle files. Software same. Those all are open source. This contains parallax propeller microcontroller. Yesterday I finished the Arduino version. If anyone has Arduino. If anybody wants to play with it, they can play with it.
Did you give us your website?
Sorry, website is robots-everywhere.com. All the software and all the schematics is on the wiki. You just follow the wiki link. Site I made myself. It's not my primary thing, so I apologize if it looks dated. It looks 1990s-ish.
Yeah.
There you have it. That is all.
I don't know what that's, it's also got one of the grippers on it.
Oh yes, the gripper is just something I got from the Jameco warehouse the other day. It just so it does something other than just the other hand. Now one of these, and I have video on YouTube. One of these was arrested in Italy because I built the bigger one and I sent it for groceries. And essentially, I called the police before, but the person taking the call thought it was a prank and did not write down anything. So they called the bomb squad, and I had to go down and go down to the grocery place and explain. No, this is not a bomb. This is a robot. Well, the thing is that I had audio come in. And what happens is that they start, we do not have Miranda law, we have similar law for reading your rights. And the carabiniere, the policeman, starts reading the rights to the robot, say, you should stop, you have the right to not say anything. And then I took manual control back and I say, let me park this thing real quick and I will bike down and we can talk in person.
What parameters should we search to find these videos on YouTube?
Sorry?
What parameters should we use to find these videos on
YouTube? For the search is a Spirit Plumber, one word, which is my email, spiritplumber@gmail. Is a video of this and is video of flying wing airplane, same software, same hardware. This does everything except for helicopter. Helicopter, no, because I bought one, I crashed it about 5 minutes later and I don't have the money to buy another one.
What's the YouTube search?
Spirit Plumber, sorry. Spirit as in ghost and plumber as in a person who fixes pipes is one word.
Oh, okay.
We sell the kit and we also give away the schematic and the software if you want to, just do it. I would very much be honored if you decide to take a look at it.
So, this is the 4.
Huh?
Can I get that in an iPhone 4?
If you give me an iPhone to develop one, yes. I return it to you afterwards.
So is this the first robot anywhere that has had the Miranda rule? This very well could be.
That is also on YouTube. Now the problem is that the outdoor videos are very granular, they're very pixelated because of privacy laws. The indoor videos look better. Or there is one outdoor video, the only people, I stopped all the people that appear in it and ask permission, so you can see that well. The other ones you cannot see very well because I had to blur.
Sure.
But,
That's
Are you?
sorry for putting myself forward.
Please.
That's great. That's what this is for. But if you're not on our mail list, if you get on our mail list and send a message so that people can.
I certainly will. Thank you.
Please do. That is Let's see who's next. Sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, this is so this is Dustin. Dustin is 8 years old. He's in second grade, and he asked me to speak on behalf of him. So this is another table bot. He called it Ninobot, and I took him 3 days, I think, to assemble. It's a Strux kit here. Takes some patience. It's flexible, kind of. So, but it has some electronics on here and a gear and transmission. So I think we can turn it on. Do we have to turn it on? This thing? Here. I hold it up and you turn it on. Okay. Don't get scared. So it should move the head left and right there. And the eyes flash.
All right. So what's his name again?
This is
Dinobot.
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 Cool.
Thank you.
There's a piece.
Did we lose it?
A couple of pieces. There's 3 of them. One more. There's one more.
One more?
I think. Over between the chair and the, nope, to your left. To your left. Straight. I see something on the floor. You're almost there. Right in front of you. Yep, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This is, I call it the B-bot. It's a line follower. And
Do you guys need a table?
Yeah, or do you want a mic?
I don't know, if we put them on the floor,
On the floor?
safer
That's
on
okay.
the floor. We got tracks we got.
We got two of them. But you can come over here and talk.
I'll let the kids talk first and they can explain it, and then I'll fill in wherever they're missing.
If you come over here.
Yeah, okay.
so, it's a line follower robot. So, designed by Ted over here. And he designed it for scratch just for six other students. First, there's a gearbox right here, so we put this together, put the motors on, and then then we had a laser cutter to cut out the plastic and sketch out some designs. And then we stripped some wires and put it, and then connected the wheels to the gearbox, and then put we sort of tapped the plastic so everything could be screwed in, and we put we screwed in the chips and the chip and the gearbox and the line follower, the sensor, and connected everything together, and then put the plastic all into and then we got the finished product, which is here, and it acquired some tuning, but it works.
That's okay. Let's see if we can make it work.
It doesn't work when we blame Ted.
Very good.
All right. So the goal of this project was, my wife came to me last year and said, oh, they're doing a fundraiser for the school. Wouldn't it be cool if we could do some kind of robo day at the tech shop where the kids could build robots? And she's like, wouldn't it be cool if you could just whip up a robot for them to build? And, I thought, oh yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? So that started a multi-month odyssey to slowly build something. And so I designed this thing from the ground up, essentially, and the goal wasn't necessarily to build a robot the way that I would build a robot with Bob, for example. It was more to build a robot that maximized the use of tech shop tools, and it was more about the process and less about just the final product. And so, as he described, some of the things they built, they did they tapped holes in plastic, and they cut things out on the laser cutter themselves and whatnot. And Shiloh also built a robot, And
Posthumously.
posthumously, right? Yeah, that's right. She built a robot. Dave helped and Brandon helped with the party at the tech shop, and I'm very grateful to them because they came and helped out. And Ryan is Brandon's son, so Ryan came and built a robot at the party. Shiloh didn't come, but Dave took a kit home with him, and then they built it on their own after the fact. And then I brought 2 more. This was the original prototype. It has brackets on it and stuff so that you can build shape block ears and tails and things to put on
You
it.
made a mouse and I made a cat.
Yeah, right, she made a
Neither of
cat.
them has the ears on.
That's right. And so, but they all reasonably work. The primary, it has basically a PID control that keeps it on the line. And they've got 4 dials on the top. 1 controls the speed, and the other 3 are the P, the I, and the D. And so you basically have this thing, and it doesn't work when you first put it together because it's not tuned. And then all the kids have to get out a little screwdriver and diddle it and make it drive, and then diddle a little more and then make it drive. And you can see, like, if the control's over-tuned, it waggles too much, and if it's not tuned enough, it
Sometimes
doesn't.
it just stops randomly.
Yeah.
It depends on how much infrared light there is coming.
That's right.
Maybe there's just too much light.
They all have,
We should turn off all the lights and stuff.
We'll forego that.
they all kind of work.
I've got a screwdriver for you, Shiloh, so like tuning in real time.
This one's just got a eye of its own.
It's not the newest robot.
Yeah.
So it has a PIC 18F K20. So it's a adult running at 3 volts. Another thing that Bob and I had a long discussion because all of a sudden here we have a robot kit, and what are you going to do with it? And you know, we could have more parties, whatever. We've been talking about the possibility of just taking all the designs and throwing them up on Google Code and seeing what happens. I don't know, but the other thing we thought about too is, you know, you could use this as a starting point for the club robot if you wanted, because it's there, you know, and it's easy to make one. You just throw the parts on the laser, you cut it out, and all the kids made one. They arrived at 9:30 in the morning and even got a tech shop tour and ate lunch, and everyone left with a working robot at the end of the day. So it was something that could be constructed in a day. The only item that they didn't do, they did a little bit of soldering to get the motor leads on. Only the kids that really wanted to do soldering did. And the other ones, with the boards, we had the boards assembled. And with board assembly,
They cut a corner.
with board assembly, I only made 10 of them. So the raw cost for all the parts was about $100, but it was $20 of that was an assembler that put the boards together. So, you know.
It's all through hole, so
It's all through hole, yeah. You can just order boards and give them to people, so. Okay.
One correction. It's not the club robot, it's a club robot.
Oh, it would be a
We can
club
have more
robot,
than
that's
one.
right.
So the group that has been tasked with starting the thing, it picks their robot, and then we can have more.
Oh, sure, sure. Okay, thank you.
I'm sure people are going to be interested.
Yeah, you can come and check it out after the meeting.
Okay, so we're looking for people. Why don't we do the Google people next, and then we'll do that afterwards. And then,
Can I use my board before I haul it away here? Because I got.
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I already gave Google.
It's okay.
Tuning.
We don't mind.
Even though you get AD and the big one, I understand what you're
Load,
doing.
load.
Okay.
Can you hear me louder with this thing? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, so we have something to show you today that some Googlers have contributed to. It's an open source project called cellbots.com. If you go to that website, you'll see that there's some open source code there, primarily written in Python, that lets you drive a robot from your Android cell phone. We also have Arduino code on the site. We have some CAD files if you wanted to build your own robot. And we had some preliminary Java work on the site as well, but it was all kind of, just built up over several months. And it was kind of getting sloppy, and I think we had like 600 lines was the Python file. A single Python file of 600 lines. It was just getting nasty, so we had a bunch of Googlers volunteer their time to work on sprucing it up. So this is not an official Google project at all. But Google has this thing called 20% time, where you're allowed to spend basically a day a week working on a non-official project as long as your manager is cool with it, and it's a chance to explore new things. What we've recently been doing is these things called task forces, where you build up your 20% time. So rather than taking every Thursday or every Friday and doing this side project, you do your regular job, you build up your 20% time, and then you ask your manager, can I go blow it all at once in like a week straight or 2 weeks straight? So some of the folks here, I'll introduce. We have Chris, Chaitanya, Charles, Matt, there's a few others back there. Heidi, raise your hand if you were working on this. There you go. Okay. So that was Helen and Kavalja back there. So we basically we're going to show you what we're working on, which is some new Python code, new Java code, new Arduino code. We have not yet pushed it to cellbots.com, but we will soon. So who wants to show something first?
Yeah. Why don't you start talking?
So we did not bring an overhead projector, unfortunately, so you cannot see what's on the phone, but we'll try to hold it up. And then you can, of course, come around afterwards and see what the app looks like. The Python app has no GUI. You'll just see Python output on the screen, so you're not missing anything. But the nice Java app that Charles and Chaitanya built, we actually had some UX design in it, and it actually looks really nice.
So, Chaitanya, do you want to start talking?
Okay, so the goal when we started building this app was to have a structure to the app which lets you control different robotic platforms with the single app, and preferably over the network. So you can, so just like the first robot that was demoed here, just like that, you can pretty much control this robot. The range of the control is basically the range of the internet. So, and we did recently add video to Cellbots. So currently the platforms that are supported is iRobot Create. So it's an off-the-shelf robotic version of the Roomba. They have removed the vacuuming part of it, and they have an open command interface, and you can send commands to it over serial or over Bluetooth. So the phone that sits on the robot talks to the iRobot Create over Bluetooth, and there's a remote controller phone, or there's a remote controller web interface, which can talk to the onboard phone over the internet. The way it currently works is there's an HTTP relay through which the remote sends commands to the onboard phone. There's also a version in the works where the onboard phone runs a local HTTP server, so that if you're in the same Wi-Fi network, then you have a faster video and more responsive robot. So other than the iRobot Create, we have a Vex robot built from a Vex robotic kit, and we have some custom robots that we have built. The tall one there is called Skeletor, and then there are a bunch of other small robots. Did we bring the small ones, Ryan?
No, most of the small ones are broken, but if you go to cellbots.com, we have a link to the YouTube channel. We spent a month pounding on these things, and they're like $20 in parts, and we broke a lot of them. There, they got it working. So these iRobot Creates come with this module from Element Direct called a BAM module that's Bluetooth, and they all say the same thing. They all say Element Serial as their Bluetooth ID, so we get them confused all the time, and you connect to the wrong robot. So there we go. Yeah. What do you say?
So what I'm showing off right now is a Java-based app that myself, Chaitanya, and a couple others all worked on. And it has a variety of ways of controlling it. So I'm showing sort of direct drive method, which is the most basic one. It's a direct Bluetooth connection. There's a D-pad here. And as you can see, I can drive it with that. I can also drive it with a couple other commands. So one thing that we have is we have a joystick mode. So with the joystick, I can do that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's a robot. I think all of us have seen the sci-fi things, right? Where you talk to a robot and it actually responds right before it goes crazy and kills everyone. So we decided we'd implement that, but without the killing everyone. So I'm going to see if this works. Move forward. Stop. So one thing is we have a robotic pet mode, where if you pair it with this, it will actually try to do face recognition, and then it will try to move itself. See, so imagine if this were actually mounted on the robot, it would actually be turning to track my face.
It's attacking my foot.
Put the mic up to it when it says that.
Oh. So we can do that. The other thing is, Spirit Plumber. So Spirit Plumber earlier showed that you mentioned that we didn't have a video on Cellbot. So yes, we realized that is actually a pretty big flaw. So we thought we would fix that as part of our 20% task force. So the version that we'll be coming out with will have a video through a relay, as Jitendra mentioned, and I can show that with two phones. So let me actually explain a little bit about the workflow. So what I had just done earlier was I had paired the phone with the robot over Bluetooth. Now let's suppose that I have another phone, which I do because I work at Google and we have lots of phones here. So let's suppose I have another phone, and what I can do is I can take the robot I just paired, long press on it, and then I can have the option to share it. So if I share it, it makes it accessible over the cloud. And because it's accessible over the cloud, I could be halfway around the world driving the robot. And I can see out of what the robot is saying. So I'm just going to share it here. Jen, do you want to say a few words about the local HTTP server?
Yeah, so, and we also, in addition to the D-pad and the accelerometer, the joystick, there's also the accelerometer mode where you can tilt the phone forward and back, left and right to drive the robot. And currently, there are 4 methods of communication between the onboard phone and the remote control. The one is the HTTP relay, which can be your custom HTTP server that you set up on your own network. And the Java app provides a way to specify the relay through which the communication should happen. There's an app engine version in the works, which we might have out soon. And then there's also communication happening through XMPP. So, and we use the ASMAC library, which is out there, to communicate between the two phones over XMPP. So you just log in using a Gtalk account for now, and send commands through that. And there's the 4th way, which is the local HTTP server, and that runs on the onboard phone. Of course, the only limitation is you need to be in the same Wi-Fi network for that to work.
Yeah, so if you are new to robotics and you buy an iRobot Create, or if you buy a Lego Mindstorms, or one of the Vex Pros, or you build your own, like the ones that were demoed here today would be great. Then you can download this app from the market once we push it up there in a couple of weeks, and you can be driving right away.
Get off the pads.
Oh, sorry.
How do we get this?
We really can't.
Oh, we can't? Okay. Okay, well.
We can try zooming in, but.
You can try putting it.
Yeah, it's just not going to show up.
It's just not going to show up.
It's showing.
All right. A little bit.
Is that the maximum?
Okay. Go ahead. It's focusing on the other robot.
Oh, actually, why don't you guys go first? I'm going to use something else. So not only do we have lots of phones, we have lots of Android-related devices. Probably should have better on this. So why don't you guys keep talking?
All right, so we'll show that phone to phone next. So just moving on quickly, do you want to project this?
Yeah.
We want to show the Python version. So for those of you new to robots, again, you download this Java app from the market, and you're driving your robot and you're having fun. If you want to start hacking on Java, we will open source it all. But a lot of hackers in the community have an interest in Python, so we have a brand new Python stack.
Yeah, and pretty much covered that in a nutshell. With the Python application, we're basically, oh, is it good to go? Cool, sweet.
Yeah, it's good to go. So I think this will, hopefully this will show up better.
Yeah, can I drive it by pushing the buttons?
Yeah, you can drive it. Just use the D-pad because I haven't finished the other modes.
All right. So there's video streaming through the app. That's the D-pad over there.
Ryan, stop! Ryan, stop! Hit the stop button.
All right.
So I'm stating the obvious, that camera would be on the robot, right? when you bring it?
Yes.
So
We have
that would
these very
actually
nice
be on
card
the
hours. Yeah. So by using a car dock, any Android phone model you have, we use a lot of Nexus ones because we have a plethora of them, but any Android phone you have, you go buy the car dock for it and just stick it on your robot, and it's the easiest mounting possible.
Cool. Yeah, so you'll notice many similarities between that and the Python application, where the key design behind the Python is really have this code that you can quickly jump into and pretty much hack whatever you want to do really quickly. And pretty much in a nutshell, oh, by the way, we had these slides already. A few of them are kind of cool, so just flip through them, and it gives a really good visual picture of what we're trying to do. Don't worry, it's not going to be 100 bullet points. It's, oh dear God. So, in a nutshell, Python plus Android plus robots is just awesome. Well, I might as well point this. Pass it? Okay. So, in a nutshell, we've been working on a bunch of stuff here. One of the coolest things to come out is scripting layer for Android, which allows you to use a ton of languages, whatever you want to do. And it exposes the rich phone API. And this entire application has been developed to run on SL4A, and it's all coded in Python. Essentially, what we're allowing is the 4 different input methods right now, with the XMPP, Telnet, Bluetooth, or Web API, to basically get an input in from the cloud. And it's very straightforward to add more of these just with the way we've kind of designed the Python code. I guess a quick heads up on that is the Cellbot code that's out there now, we started with that as a base point and changed everything basically, but in a way that made it, instead of being sort of a hack to demo what's possible, made it so it's maintainable, you can easily expand it. Initially it's overwhelming, but once you get down to it, it's really cool, and there's a lot of things we can do for it, and we're adding new features, and it's easy to do that. So we have the inputs and the outputs, same thing, easy to add more robots. Right now we got Lego NXT, iCreate, AVRobot, and Vex. Where AVRobot, for example, we got the Skeletor over there, can easily control him, drive him around. We got Rosie, which is the cart over there, which is kind of our cool demo to drive around the office and
carry things.
Yeah, people, we haven't tried yet, but it could definitely be feasible to be sitting on the robot and just driving around with your hand. And I guess the coolest thing about this is really all you need is a simple robot, a cell phone, and you're pretty much good to go. Or you can get more crazy and have the same phone, same application, and you're running sweet ass, a sweet cart robot. Sorry, been late nights. Details, don't need those. As well, we support the remote aspect, where you can have one phone on the robot and another one in your hand. It basically uses accelerometers to send a command. And we also support the standard XMPP. And yeah, onto the cool robot demo stuff. This is really what it's all about. Does that show up? Cool. So this is awesome. All we have is a Roomba actually sitting right over here. We've got the video streaming back. This SL4A, a new release coming out, will support webcam API. So we got the window open with that, and we got the standard Gtalk window, and you can basically send it wherever you want. and you can drive this thing around anywhere with the Wi-Fi coverage, which is awesome because all of Google is under one giant Wi-Fi network, and we can harass everyone with robots anywhere from anywhere. My coworkers have kind of hated me the past couple of days, but it's been a lot of fun just sneaking up on people and surprising them and having fun. So I can basically forward all the standard commands you'd expect. Firefox is being a little bit odd right now. That's right. And so we've gotten a ton of robo shenanigans too with this. We basically drove it to one of those mini kitchens you've seen, had it sit there, request somebody to give it a Coke. People are pretty kind to robots. They put a Coke on the robot, drive it back to your desk. Problem solved. You got a Coke, you didn't have to leave. Although, it takes 5 times as long to do that, but that's really, it's not the point. It's just way awesome.
Does the robot get a security badge?
So that's another thing we tried playing around with. We had the robot at one of the main exits, basically asking people to open the door, please open the door, freedom, sweet, sweet freedom, please let me out. And people wouldn't open the door. They would just act all confused and try and close the door so this robot couldn't escape. We didn't try it the other way around. We could probably get it a badge and see what would happen, but I have a feeling we Googlers wouldn't let random robots into the compound. Yeah, there's some security issues with that. We've also crashed a bunch of important meetings with this. You can have it drive into a room, and oh yeah, you can have it pretty much say whatever you want as well. Yeah, cool. So you can drive into a meeting room, have people say, oh, please put it up on the table, and they put it up on the table, you can watch the conference, record audio, take pictures. Basically anything you do on the phone, you can do on this robot, and it's really easy implementation. So, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Tons of cool things, a lot of potential, and this code is almost getting to a point where you can release it, and then everything will be dandy from that point on. And that's basically it.
Cool. Thanks.
Send a message to the HBR.
Yeah, so we'll send an email out when we release it, and we'll
please come
get
back.
these off of here. Yeah, when we release it, we'll come back.
We want you to come back and show us your progress, okay?
Absolutely. So if you want to see this stuff afterwards, we'll leave it over there in the corner. Yeah.
Okay. So you talk to the Android, to all the processors through Bluetooth or through different ways?
Yeah, so the phone that's on the robot is intended to be the brains of the robot, the cognitive layer, and the Bluetooth is really just to get out to the nervous system to talk to some motors and sensors. So these ultrasonic sensors talk into a little Arduino that talk to the motor drivers and so forth, and they're very stupid. It does just the
And
last
you're
one
talking to
stuff.
the Arduino
Through Bluetooth, yeah.
Okay, excellent. We've got some more robots. You're next. Okay, then Alan. And then you guys want to go again? No, I'm talking about I can't remember the green robots. That's you. So we're running a little late, so it's pick up.
So my name is Osmond. This is my second robot. Building off what I did from the table plot last month. Right now I'm just calling him Chumby. Eventually he's going to be called Balancing Chumby. He's not quite there yet. Uses similar components to the table bot last month. The Chumby unit, which is the brains, the CPU. It uses the baseboard from Demand Peripherals. That's Bob's company. He's in the back if you have questions about that. So the baseboard takes care of all of the interface to the peripherals. Eventually there's going to be IR sensors. There's cutouts for the IR sensors and ping sensors. What else? And the whole drivetrain is different from my table bot last month. I got new, really nice metal gear motors, real step up from plastic motors. It's the first time I've worked with metal motors, so really nice.
With encoders?
Yes. These motors have about 1,800 counts per revolution. They make motors that even go up to about 8,000 counts per revolution. These are Pilotu. I love Pilotu. I buy all their stuff.
Which model?
If you just look at metal gear motor, you know, about this size. So these are real nice motors for kind of a tabletop size robot. Anything bigger, I don't know. I haven't built anything bigger, so It does move, it doesn't balance yet, so let's, I will demonstrate what it can do so far. It needs to finish its blink cycle, so just.
The eyes are wonderful.
My name is Chummy.
Right.
I can confirm it. And backwards. And right.
Let me out of here.
When I grow up, I want to be a balancing robot. That's all for now. Giving it time.
So I'm really trying to take more of the stuff that's built into the Chumby. You know, it's got this great touch screen. You know, I want to make a robot that's more personal. You know, something you can interact with more than just the microwave. You know, and to do that, what I think you really need, first thing is eyes. You know, because that's really what draws your attention. You can really express a lot just with eyes. You know, you can tell which direction it's going to move. You can tell if it's in trouble. All kinds of stuff. So this is going to be a platform that I build on in the future. Eventually I'm going to get it voice recognition. That was just a canned demo, of course, but you know, I can do other speech synthesis, and you know, I can talk to you. Eventually I'm going to put arms on it. So we'll see how it goes.
Great. It's of course based on Bob Smith's Chumby talk, right?
Yeah, thanks to Bob. That was the first homebrew meeting that I went to, and it happened to be a real good one for me because it told me how to get started, you know, with the Chumby and the baseboard. So
good, good, excellent. Okay, right here, Alan.
Yeah. Okay. I sent this out to this club around 2 months ago, working on a static laser ranger. It's basically just 2 laser pointers on either side of a CCD camera, and I'm pushing it to OpenCV. And the idea is, as you get closer to the target, the pixels increase, and as you go further away, they get closer together. So by measuring the distance between the pixels, you'll get a range to target, and it's pretty cheap. I mean, it's a CCD camera and 2 $3 laser pointers, and again, that's a little simpler than a what, $40,000 LiDAR, or even a $400 LiDAR.
You got competition, Nito.
Bring in the 2 chargers.
No, I agree.
No expense was spared. No expense was spared.
Okay. Tight on time here, so you and then Dave. Did I miss anybody else?
Charlene, about Patrick.
Patrick, do you want to go tonight?
I think we're getting out of time, so I'll stick around after.
Okay.
So I finally got the remote control working on this thing, and also we worked on the arm, and we're going to try to get to lift that wire up.
We're going to do a little string test, I guess. Captain's telling us.
This is Charlene.
Yes, this is Charlene.
This is XY 2000 sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Performing
Girlfriend, sister.
feats of strength.
It's a little wobbly, but the newer version is one solid frame. Actually.
So now we're going to try our trial of strength. I think it's like a pound or 2, something like that.
Let's see if Charlene's up for it.
Yeah, but you saw what happened last time.
Well, but it hasn't caught on fire for the last 2 meetings, which is good, because it probably have sprinklers in here.
That's how. It's going down.
That's easy to do.
There we go.
It's very slow, but we're trying to build up to speed.
We're doing it on a drive, threaded rod drive, basically.
Yeah, kind of like a garage door opener. It builds a lot of torque, but it's slow. But we're going to a 13 thread instead of a 20 thread. It should at least increase it by about 70%. But, and also maybe where I change the leveraging.
How fast can it fold towels?
That's a good question. You know, robots have all day because you don't have to pay them anything.
Well, we're definitely on the same page with a lot of people.
But
How we
the
wanna
main idea was to get the
interact with people.
Yeah, it has a camera, and then we have like a little box outside where it actually can broadcast to, so you can control it from the distance.
And then we're gonna might do one. You know how you get from Spirit, how they have the different voice modulator things. But we have one or two of them. We're gonna throw it on there, so when we go up to talk to somebody, it'll have that robot sound to it.
Yeah, we got it for
Halloween.
Halloween. It has a robotic kind of high frequency sound. It sounds like a girl robot even.
Very nice.
Which is kind of cool.
So there you go.
Okay, so that's we just wanted to prove I can make an arm that works.
That is?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Dave? Okay. And then we're going to get going on our talk. We're running a little late here.
Only if you want to. You want to? Okay. Is anybody here that hasn't heard of the RepRap project? So everybody knows what, okay. So RepRap is, stands for Replicatable Rapid Prototyper. It's a homebrew, hobbyist quality 3D printer. And MakerBot makes a kit called the Cupcake, which is a variation on that. Shiloh and I put one together. You can see pictures of it on the HPRC wiki. She painted it. I think that would be clear if you saw it. But anyway, it's beautiful. Not my color choices. That's what I'm referring to. I would have chosen different colors, but she showed some very nice colors.
Like pink.
Anyway, so we have a pink 3D printer. Anyway, ever since we've had this thing, I've had the goal of printing a robot. The idea is, if it doesn't need to be metal, if it doesn't need to conduct electricity, try to print it all. And I decided this was the month I was going to go for it. I didn't actually get as far as getting electronics on here, but I actually did print all the functional mechanical parts. I printed the wheels, printed the body, printed the motor clamps, printed the pockets for ball casters, and learned a lot of things. I consider this a successful prototype because there's almost nothing that I would do the same the next time. So therefore, that's a successful prototype. Let's just throw this thing in there. I've never run it on carpet, so I have no idea how it's going to work on carpet. So right now, I just have the motors tack soldered to the batteries. Oh, that's the other thing. The battery holder is printed. So basically, there's a couple of pieces of scrap brass for connecting the battery, and a couple of motors, and a couple of ball bearings, and screws, 4 screws. That's the only thing that wasn't printed. So anyway, it is an autonomous robot, but it has a very simple control system. It just runs until it hits something. Anyway, here we go. Oops. It goes this way. Hey, it works on the carpet. Hey. And it runs upside down. We killed it!
Obviously, we're going to be seeing more 3D printing as time comes forward. Okay. By the way, I got a chance to see the insides of a Stratasys 3D printer. Those are the big, expensive ones. They look just like a cupcake going bigger. It's really amazing.
And a little more accurate.
They're maybe a little more accurate, but they're not surprisingly so. Okay. So, just a comment. Some people have school tomorrow. Some people have day jobs tomorrow. If you need to go, we won't be insulted. We're now coming to the main talk, so let's get going on that. Our speaker tonight is